Today, let's draw a pumpkin and blend with oil pastel. First, start by putting your name on the back of your paper and your class code. Now we're going to go ahead and draw a really tall and skinny oval in the center of the front of our paper. This is going to be the middle of our pumpkin. Now, pumpkins are symmetrical. That means they're about the same on both sides, but they're never perfect. If you've gone to a pumpkin patch this year, you've probably noticed that all the pumpkins look different and none of them are quite perfect, and that's what makes them so fun. Next, we're going to add a bump on either side, and then another bump again on either side as well. Everyone's pumpkin is going to look a little bit different, which makes it even more fun. From there, you can go ahead and add a fancy, fun stem on the top, and then we're going to draw a bunch of lines going down the side of our stem to show texture. That means it shows how our pumpkin feels, and our pumpkin stem is definitely rough. So this is how I drew my stem. Feel free to change the way you draw your stem. And then once you have it drawn out with pencil, you're going to grab some oil pastel. You're definitely going to need some orange, but if you think about the color wheel and what two colors create the color orange, we'll also be using those. So we're going to need some yellow and some red. Yellow is a lighter color, so we're going to be using that to create the highlights in our orange. And red is a darker color, so that's going to help us make the darker areas. Next, we'll also need some greens for our stem. Let's go ahead and start with the lightest color first. We're going to add some yellow in the center of each bump of our pumpkin. Notice I'm going to be going back and forth a lot, back and forth to make that color nice and smooth on my paper. The more you layer oil pastel, the nicer it will look. So don't be afraid to keep going, rubbing back and forth to fill in all those white spots in the center area of your pumpkins. And then you'll notice I'm kind of pressing down a little bit hard. You do want to give it a little bit of elbow grease to get that color nice and bright. Once you have all of the bumps with yellow, we're going to go the other direction and add the dark areas, which will be red. So these dark areas are going to be the areas that the light has a hard time getting to, which would be the edges. So we'll start with the edges of all of our bumps, doing one at a time. And then you'll also add a little bit at the bottom because the light is going to have a hard time getting underneath that pumpkin. So let's go ahead and fast forward as I go around all of the edges of my bumps and the bottoms. All right, let's do some blending. Take that orange and we're going to blend it into the red around the outside of your pumpkin bumps, and then blend it slowly into your yellow to create a yellow orange. Now you don't want to just have red, orange, and yellow. You want to blend and mix these colors together. The cool thing about oil pastels is that you can blend them so that you can create your own colors, just like with paint. So when you blend your red with your orange, you'll get a reddish orange. And when you blend your yellow with your orange, you'll get a yellowish orange. And this creates a really realistic feel for your pumpkins, and it's going to create a really fun glowing effect on your pumpkin. So take your time and really blend those colors back and forth, back and forth. If you need to go back and add some more red or add some more yellow, you can do that as well. But let's go ahead and fast forward here until I finish all of my bumps. All right, just like with our pumpkin, we're going to add the darker color green around the edges of our stems first. So take the darkest green you have and go around the outside of your stem, going over those lines for texture. Then you can go ahead and blend a lighter green on the inside of that. Now go ahead and keep going with this until you're happy. You can add a little bit of brown to give it a more of a textured brown look. You can also add some shading. It's up to you. And then the last step for today is when you are finished, you're going to go over all of your lines you drew with your pencil with a black, and that's just going to make it stand out even more. Now really this is kind of an optional part. You don't have to go over everything with black, but it's going to, number one, make it easier for you to cut when you next time when we cut this, but it's make the pumpkin stand out even more. So I highly recommend it. Here's how my pumpkin turned out, and next time we're going to cut this out and make an awesome night background for our fall pumpkin. I'll see you then, and I hope you had fun. Love, your cozy art teacher.